All right, let's. We're not gonna waste any time here. Typically, we do a nice long introduction, welcome everybody in. But our teams here today are so on top of things that we are actually just going straight into draft. My name is Les Force. Joined with me is some would say the better half of the booth. We've got Val. How we doing?
Wouldn't say that myself, but hi, I'm doing well. How are you doing, Westworks?
I'm doing good. Got a little bit of the sniffles out of my system. Feeling all right. Got some banger financial B action here tonight. PC Highlanders, Jackie Boy and Company taking on Omega Gaming, and we have blown through these bands. First pick Ezreal on the spot.
I love Israel. I lied, actually. I don't know why I said that. I don't love Israel. I find that champ very frustrating to play against, but very fun to watch.
Well, it's just like a really dramatic change in tone, I guess, in the span of like an instant. Ezreal, pretty safe blind. I feel like, especially like right now, is pretty impactful. Can kind of play the poke style, can play the weak side, can do a lot of different things. Gonna be answered by the Zeri. Curious to see where Omega Gaming goes from here. Zeri, like I like Zeri with Lulu. I know some people go like the Rakan, the Nautilus. Could go a couple different ways into the Ez.
See the Yume. Oh no, it's gonna be Nautilus.
Could be a Yumi. I'd be a little disappointed. It is going to be Nautilus for Concrete, I believe the captain of Omega Gaming, putting themselves on not duty here.
I love. This isn't the only captain in the league who I feel like is crazy enough to lock not. I feel like a lot of captains in the support position are willing to lock engage supports. That's like the norm.
Yeah, I mean, Engage, name of the game right now. Lilia gonna get picked up for Grant Torino. Obviously, I'm very partial to the deer, so I will probably have to root for PC by default in this game. Assuming we see Jackie Boy pick up his whatever Engage support he feels like in Zeri Nautilus. Gonna be we are in for a treat. The Jackie
Lord.
Boy Alistar.
I don't know if he understands the implication of picking Jackie Boy Alistar in a game that is commentated by two different booth members. This is amazing. This is like early Christmas.
For the record, I no longer feels good about taking my bets on PC Islanders. One pick can change everything. Udyr gonna be the pickup in the jungle for Omega Gaming. Pretty standard here. Got your bot side in the jungle. Probably gonna see a lot of top lane bans here. Both these, I actually think the mid laner for Omega Gaming's kind of been popping off so far this season. I believe that is Princeton and Ducky Lord. Up there as far as our highest damage dealers in financials. So curious to see where these bans go out here.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple bans thrown at the top lane. Obviously, win right away. Some may say he's a two-trick, but I think his pool has expanded nicely in recent years. So I think we're about to see 4 top bans, which like I love being a top laner and getting to phase 2 and having all my champs gone.
There's still plenty of tanks up there, right? Like a little Ornn duty never hurt anybody. Although Omega Gaming, I would recommend not going a third tank against Lilia. Two is doable. Three you get into some trouble. And yes, that is correct. This is financial. This is financial B, not financial C. I don't know what for clown put in financial C. Must have been talking about it or something. But we do have 4 top lane bans. The question is, do Omega look to blind their top, get their 5th option, or do they just save for counter? You got a lot
I
of
would say for counter, especially considering how good Dark Lord has been. But Princeton, the Omega Gaming mid laner, has some of the highest DPM in the entire league. Has been kind of rolling in terms of just like being one of the scarier players, so I completely understand giving the last pick over to him.
Yeah, you got a lot of arena requests coming out in chat Must be popular or something.
I wouldn't say so. An immediate poppy from Duck Lord as well.
That's just so unfun.
That is unfun, but it's also, I do kind of like the comp that's coming together here for Highlanders, because all things considered, right? It's okay if Jack misses his combo, because the headbutt alone is going to have so much effect against this Omega Gaming team. Being able to headbutt the Zeri out of a fight after she ults is going to be hilarious if it happens. Headbutting Nautilus, headbutting Udyr, headbutting Renekton, all of these things are super duper useful, because right now Omega Gaming is all in, and I feel like we've seen 4 picks from the Highlanders that do great at disengaging, and Lilia, who is going to be completely fine with getting engaged on and being able to sleep everybody involved.
We got the not even really time to consider that. It's gonna be the Yone mid lane counter pick into the Syndra, looking for a little bit of kill pressure there, and that's gonna wrap up our drafts here. Nice and quick coming out. Was it about 10 minutes?
Yeah, they were fast. We are going to get into game like record speed.
Record speed. We'll let them know that we are ready. I always tell them the stream will catch up, but sometimes they just, they got minds of their own. They're considerate.
They're very, I was like, I do love how considerate players and everyone are. It's very kind of them to make sure we're ready as well, even though we're like, just go, see what happens. We'll inevitably catch up.
Couple things to point out in the chat, since we're going so quick into the draft. We have, X1 Skyline, also known as Voodoo Mama Juju. Hashtag Jackie Boy, please bear my children. Not gonna elaborate any further on that. Dragon Slayer Luke asking about their goblin. Must have gotten lost in the backyard. Personally, I'm not too familiar with goblin behaviors and mannerisms. I know a couple of guys who are really good. They're really well versed in the Goblin verse. You got Buggleberry Finn. You got Ev Dingus. I think even someone you don't know dabbles a little bit. I wouldn't say that he's a full-on enthusiast, but I think any of those guys should be able to help you with maybe some like Goblin whistles or some like trap bait. All that kind of fun stuff to help you find your local goblin.
Or he'll help the goblin and cause you further issues. That is the gamble you have to take.
And that is actually a very likely outcome if you do ask Ev Dingus for help. The chances are extremely high that you will not catch the goblin in the end. I will go ahead and set up our predictions here. And wow, I am forgetting that the last time that we did a stream, there was, what's that, 400 K Schmeckles thrown about?
Jeez, for what?
It was Dynasty Stray versus the CLG Plunderers, and youngster Joey, Mr. Moneybags over here, threw a cool 250K on CLG. So, I think if we had the Schmeckle leaderboard, I do think youngster Joey would be on top at the moment. Has to be sitting on at least 400K at this point, if not more. Luffy, you have a goblin tattoo scheduled? Question. Was that at all influenced by the low-budget LCS's infatuation with goblins, or is that of your own free will? 524K apparently. That, my bad.
Ooh, that is a lot of early money on the Highlanders. This is gonna be fun. Oh, Luffy put 3.1K on the Highlanders. Well, I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the money, if I can get it. Oh, someone got it for me. Thanks, Sammy. Necro Goblin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Luffy at 3,000 is like kind of a lot for him. He's of the Bigfoot philosophy where you all in every time. So getting to 3K means that he's gotten at least like 2 bets in a row, right? If not 3.
Oh, we'll see how that continues to go. Oh, here, hold on. Let me put my mic like in my mouth. Forget this thing is back in my head. Hello.
Hello, we now hear Val. Well, we'll see. I was hearing Val. We'll see if Luffy says you are still quiet. I wouldn't say newest subscriber, newest investor in the low budget LCS. We've got Zebra on a 14-month burner here. You know the spiel. You're gonna go to the Denny's, knock on the dumpster. Todd is homeless right now. Times are tough. Knock on the dumpster a couple times to let you in. Pancakes are on us. That's the general spiel. There's probably a couple things missed in there, but yeah, thank you for the subscription, and same to Sammy Two Slap, 20 months on an 18-month streak, and he says boo. Now there's a couple different ways to go about that. That could be he's booing you. He could be booing me. He could be booing us, the booth. He could be getting in the festive spirit of things and maybe just saying like boo, like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Speaking of ghosts, no, it's just like very comedic timing. And Luffy gifting a sub to our resident executive expert. Oh, and now I'm gonna because the last time I was in a call, Praetorian was very clear that it is pronounced one way and yelled at Ruffian for it.
Right. To be fair, Ruffian has been saying it wrong on purpose, and it is so funny. So you either joined this very funny club or not.
See, I can't remember which. I believe it's Kiko.
Yes,
I believe correct. It is not Quiquo as
Quiquo. Dude, that shit is awesome. Maybe I should start calling her Quiquo. Now that I'm thinking about it.
It's about telling, not spelling. Liam tries his best. It's just not very good.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Heading into this game, for those of you that aren't familiar with the standings, currently these are some of our top teams in Financial B. I believe Omega, technically they're in the 2 spot, but they are undefeated. They are 3-0 in terms of series. I believe they dropped 1 game to the 5 Musketeers, whereas Panther Core Highlanders, I believe, are in 3rd place, 2-1. They dropped a series to, I believe it was to Naughty, who are in our 1st spot. Not a surprise there. So this should be a pretty good bout. What are you thinking heading into game 1 here?
I just took a whole bite out of my granola bar, but I think both of these teams have an important task ahead of them. Right, if PC gets, it generally, especially in a 14 playoff, that 4-win spot is as good as at least making the playoffs, barring being in the most difficult group ever. So they want to get one step closer to that, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Omega is basically going for the same thing. They want to hit the 4-0, and they haven't played Narwhals or Highlanders yet. Those are the teams that everybody's very familiar with and are very expecting to be very good. So I think they're looking to knock down one of those known teams, put themselves in a position going into week 5 and week 6. They play TDS, who's in the playoff picture, and Narwhals, who's in the playoff pictures, and kind of look to take over, put themselves atop the mountain.
Yeah, we're still in this part of the season where, the top dogs, at least in theory, have kind of, revealed themselves. Right now we're thinking it's Naughty, we're thinking it's Omega, maybe PC Highlanders can take that next step. But we're still, I think we just crossed the halfway point in the season. So there's still plenty of ball left to play. This group is really tough. You got the 5 Musketeers who are really good. You've got the live wires who could click. Any given series, they almost beat Naughty. I say they and we almost beat them 1 game, but almost doesn't count. Panther Core, I have faced. They were definitely very strong, whereas I believe Omega Gaming is my last week opponent. As we will set everything up here, and they are looking for that mid rush. The Core JJ Nautilus try actually going to catch out Arrow here with the quick flash on the Nautilus. Gets the stun, gets the ignite off. Does Arrow burn the flash? No, he does not. It is followed by the Udyr. First blood over to Udyr.
Good things. Udyr. I, okay, I can kind of see because it looks like Ignite was going to get the kill there, and when Zeri isn't there, right? You're basically saying, uh, Yone, the kill is going to Nautilus Ignite, or either Yone or Udyr have to agree to flash for it, or Renekton, right? Either of them. Um, but Udyr flashes, takes it. So the bright spot for Highlanders, Udyr gets the kill. That's bad thing is, an Udyr with kills is really obnoxious and can be a huge issue that isn't solvable by just pushing him back a few times, especially because he doesn't have a dash, right? So Poppy's W isn't going to lock him down like other threats on the side of Omega Gaming. So it's going to be interesting to see what Simulacrum does with this.
Yeah, absolutely. It also is dawning on me that I guess we should make sure we're on the same timers here. I'm at 44, 45, 46.
Yeah, we're good.
Perfect. You know, Buggle's really good at getting off timer, so just wanted to check there. Yeah, I mean, I think Udyr getting that early first blood, getting that Amp Tome is really, really big, because Udyr is one of those champs that you want to kind of just full clear on repeat, and having that Amp Tome right off the bat should make a huge difference in kind of allowing you to do that. As we see bot lane fighting over that level 2, looks like Panther Core gonna concede. Alistar, of course, is a caster minion at level 1, so no surprise there. Not on Jack. We'll save that for later.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jack is one of those Alistars who like looks for like a flash knockup at a level that they shouldn't. Honestly, unironically, I considered the possibility of him flash knock up and then hoping that his ADC kills the minion fast enough for him to get to and knocks Zeri into the turret.
And then just like doesn't happen, so he just
it just doesn't happen, and he looks like it is.
A lot of trading here. Top lane, Poppy, Ducky Lord doing some solid damage on a super chase. Not going to be a kill, but both junglers are up here. Should be sending some red flags.
Yeah. Poppy is deceptively strong in the early game when you're looking at the Q damage, when you're looking at the grass procs. Like this fight right now. Yeah.
Yeah, not in kill range yet, but you get one of those into the wall with your, is it called the buckler? And certainly I think Super Chase is going to be in some trouble here. Udyr up here slightly faster than Grant. You're just looking to shadow. We might see a fight over the scuttle here. Looks like mid lane has the prio as well. Princeton actually going to spot out Grant here, and they are going to look to go in. Grant going to have to run this out, maybe head towards that bottom scuttle, taking a lot of damage there.
And I was gonna mention that Ducklord sometimes has a tendency to get jump scared by the enemy jungler and be like, well, I didn't know that was supposed to happen, but doesn't happen there, right? They just choose to aggress instead, which I think is the right move. But Ducklord has the wave in a nice spot against this Renekton, maybe shave it down a bit, keep it in front of the turret, force out that TP. I think he's actually going to back in TP because of where the wave is. Renekton is going to step out of the bush and push up. I know we're on mid lane right now, but I felt the need to commentate what was happening in top lane.
No, and directed cam typically wants us to see the two meatballs slap into the top lane for sure. So it's interesting that they're not showing it right now. We're instead seeing this kind of mid hover arrow, looking to maybe just get the wave in a bit. Simulacrum, I believe you pronounced it. Off to a really good start. Got both the scuttles. Has that that XP advantage. Gonna already have that faded ashes into another amp tome. So we should be seeing Udyr following the philosophy of ABC for the next couple minutes. Always be clear. And Princeton looking for an aggressive trade. Just gonna snap back.
I will say to Jordan Hoodie's point, that is true, but Super Chase, I don't know if that's true because I don't know the team, but Super Chase has played their last two series in top lane, or yeah, at least their last two series in top lane. So I don't know. I feel like they're probably plenty comfortable with him in the top lane position. So I am curious to see if that's something or not, but I think it's very interesting to see how that'll go. Because Super Chase has been doing pretty solid so far through the LBLCS season, the Gnar and the Renekton being big picks. This is so random. Which pro player was like made fun of for like only having Gnar and Renekton in his champ?
Well, there was Alfari. It was like Renekton, Gnar, Camille, Gangplank, I think were his 4.
Yeah. Those are his 4. There's Armut, who has Gnar and Wukong. I remember this.
Yeah, he's got 7 different skins for Gnar, and that was his champ pool. I remember Solo towards the end of his time was kind of just known as like Renekton was his like one non tank option. Is Duckler getting a solid trade off? Has that level 6 advantage?
I assume Renekton will get it on this wave though, which he should definitely respect. Yep, there it is. But he's about to tank like a lot of them.
See a contest over the grubs. Grant actually got in and stole one of them, and we do have potentially a 3v3 here. The Dominus is up, but they are very low. Renekton not going to get hit by the Poppy. Our flash is coming out from both sides. Renekton trying to do as much damage as they can. Ooh, Renekton able to get out from the Syndra. Grant able to pick up the kill and right on the backside. Arrow has to flash away, and now we find ourselves in a 3v2 knock up there from Jackie Boy, who has joined the fray. Grant on the wrong side of the rifts has to try and peel as long as he can, but Princeton goes in. Flash from Grant doesn't buy enough time. That's going to be a kill over to the Yone, and meanwhile Udyr trying to gift over a kill. No, going to take it. Nautilus has shown up, but I think that that's going to be the end of the play. Is oh, there it is.
Hold on.
Stop me dead in my tracks. I saw the
vision. I think everybody here saw the vision, and that unfortunately was a bit of a disaster fight. We saw the Poppy ult went awry, and I saw the vision on the Poppy ult as well, right? You're trying to like snake it around Renekton and hit Udyr, right, and guarantee the grub. But maybe in that situation, it's better to hit the Renekton, right? He just used Dominus, right? Being able to get that Dominus out. But it was Princeton, having the in there, making sure that could basically zone Arrow without actually zoning Arrow, and Super Chase having the Dominus up, being able to output more damage and kind of be more of a presence in that fight than the Poppy. And it comes down to Lilia can't really do all that she wants in that fight when Syndra's behind, when Poppy doesn't really do all that damage. A lot of the effort falls onto her and just wasn't enough.
Yeah, Arrow not going to get collapsed on there. It was big there. Grant didn't quite have the level 6 as another solid stun there by Poppy into the wall. Just not have that level 6, a big impact there on the Lilia. Such a big ultimate, putting him to sleep. The fight could have definitely gone the other way. Had like Poppy ult connected, but certainly you'll take that dub if you are Mega Gaming, as Dominus gets popped here by Super Chase, looking to just all in. Thy Ducky Lord, the flash comes out, but I don't think it's gonna buy them it will buy them the time. Not having the Call of the Meek up for Renekton, and they're gonna be able to get out, but Renekton is crashing this wave. Has to be careful. Lilia is up here to protect their top laner.
Puggle just like joined in, Goblin lurked, and then just like left. It was pretty interesting.
Oh, in call?
Really? Yeah, in call. He just joined, Goblin lurked. He's doing his thing. Didn't say anything.
Oh, I didn't even hear him. See, we were talking about that beforehand. Like, I don't get the alerts when people join the call, and like, he could have he could have jump scared me if he wanted to, but he chose not to. He's trying to help find the goblin probably.
What?
Oh, what's up, man?
Were you guys talking about me when I wasn't in here for once? I came in here for a second. I was like, maybe I'll talk on stream, and then I jumped out and I was like, nah, they're doing a great job. I love them so much. And then I jumped back in, just be like, well, do I really love them so much? And I heard you guys talking about me.
Well, we weren't saying anything bad.
As Princeton getting caught out by the sleep, does have the R to get away if they need to. They're trying to save it, but the Syndra R is going to do the damage. Nice little pickup there from Arrow and Grant.
Yeah, I could see the panic, I feel like, on Arrow's movement, where he's like, I'm not gonna get in range to press R on this guy, and it was gonna be very sad, but got within range, got the ult, and got a pretty nice kill.
Yeah. So maybe we have a play here as a good buffer there from Capins. Jackie Boy taking a lot of damage, pops the R, but Adjustment is just shredding through them. Capins trying to do what they can. Actually, good knockup here from Jackie Boy. Flash out from Concrete, gonna save them, but Capins is still relatively healthy. He's looking in for a 2v1 here, perhaps. Adjustment still has the Zeri R active. Not sure we're gonna see this fight continue. Solid little bot lane fight there for a Mega Gaming.
Yep, adjustment's one of those ADCs.
Oh,
in the lead.
oh, he's going in. He got the W proc. These guys are so close. Flash out from adjustment. Flash is still up for Captains, but now we're going back to the top side. Of course, fight going on bot. We have to see the top lane clear minions. You guys know how it goes. Udyr on these grubs, looking to grab 5 of those for his team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things I've also been noticing about the top lane is that right now, if early on in the lane, it's like one of those things I think top laners will like try to make adjustments as the game goes on, especially for their matchup. One of the things was that Duck would E or W after the first dash and try to not allow that second dash, and it worked the first few times, but Super Chase just started to dash within melee range and take the trade and not dash again to try and reposition. And it looks like that's worked well, and now it forces Ducklord back into the position where he's just got an anticipatory W before the trade actually starts.
In 2v3 here, good stun there coming out from Arrow. Princeton is getting locked up, pops the R from the Syndra. That's going to be a 2-2 now. Back-to-back kills. He's feeding this mid laner. Definitely good place here coming out from Grant, from Jackie Boy.
Thanks to the rework and everything, Syndra's kind of shifted over to more of a character that you do have to give a bit more attention to so she can get to that scaling, and it's pretty nice when the...
But in response, flash in from the Udyr, matched by the flash for Syndra, but that Udyr empowered R going to do the damage. Meanwhile, top solo kill for that Ducky Lord.
What just happened? I mean, I know what just happened mid lane, right? Syndra can't move. And then that empowered R plus the Leandries just absolutely shredded Syndra. But it felt like when we were last looking at top lane, Super Chase was getting the edge in those trades. And usually my rule of thumb with Renekton is that if you are Renekton and are even in HP, and Renekton has his ult, you are down in HP. You are in a losing position. Apparently not the case. Ducky Lord getting that kill up in the top lane. And all things considered, over the last few seasons of Highlanders, they've had a lot of, big name players, usually in the bot lane, right, with Giga Chaz and Ruffian. This season, it's kind of a shift because you've got Grant Torino and Ducky Lord have both kind of stepped up and become the guys for this team, while Arrow and Capins have also had such solid performances this so far throughout the season. And it's such a contrast, I think, to Omega Gaming, whose bot side has just been on a roll. Princeton and Adjustment have both been dynamite so far throughout their three series. So I think this is going to be such a kind of a priority clash between the two teams of who is going to get their leads, who is going to take over these games.
Yeah, no, it's always interesting when teams have those kind of differing philosophies, the way that they kind of build the team. Really get a good sense of which philosophy is right. Which team drafts around that philosophy they're looking for. Dragon coming up here, about 1.5k gold lead for Omega Gaming. Udyr very, very strong on that Leandry, starting to build those defensive items. Meanwhile, Grant actually might be getting caught out here on the wrong side of the rift. Omega Gaming sees the Lilia in their blue side, and they're going to have to try and find a way to sneak this one out. He has sneaked over to the Gromp bush. Do Omega Gaming catch him? And the Nautilus does spot them out there, does hit him with the hook. They're looking to lock down Gran Torino. Play comes in from Jackie Boy. He does knock out the Nautilus, but meanwhile on the backside there's going to be Princeton getting 2 members in with that Yone R. Cabins has to flash away. Matched by the flash of the Yone, who is still chasing, going to pick up the kill. No! Cabins leaves with no HP. Arrow gets caught. Massive Poppy R to buy time. Big W there as well, coming out from the Poppy, trying to peel Arrow as best they can, but they are going to have a hard time slowing down this Udyr, who's just running full speed. Adam Princeton picking up another kill, and now Renekton Super Chase has joined the fray as well. All that is left is the Poppy. Unstoppable goes the Udyr, 5-0-2. 4-10 goes the score.
Ooh wee, that first kill has snowballed into something different for the Udyr. PC found themselves in a tough situations. Have found themselves in a tough situation, right? Grant was on the wrong side of the rift, and I thought he was going to keep running when they stopped when they seemed to have lost him, but
stuck in the bush, thought he could get the back off, was not able to get the back off, and that unfortunately turned into
Captain's doing a lot of damage there. Flash in from Jackie Boy. Doesn't have the E connect, but Super Chase is here, and he is just running down Captain's. Teleport coming through from the Poppy. Kill is going to go over to Renekton in the end. Jackie Boy has to try and just knock up who he can. There is the E coming out from the Lilia. 2-man hit with the belling blows, I think they're called. Syndra has shown up as well. Kill comes through. Massive Nautilus hook under the tower. Arrow's going to take a couple tower shots, but there's not a damage dealer to follow up. Good response there from the Highlanders, and they could look to do the Rift Herald here.
Yeah, I was like to say Grant getting kind of the tempo back. Simulacrum forced to back, but adjustment. Getting a tower and trying to get a tower in the bot lane. For what it's worth, is probably going to be able to get it and jump over that wall and just walk right on out. Jack is looking. He's looking for the knock-up. He's looking for the knock-up to interrupt the dash.
Yeah. That's a really hard window, though. I respect
that is a difficult window. I mean, and that is that feels like Jack's whole thing. It's like we will see Jack look to make the play, especially on a champ like Alistar, right?
Yep.
But they couldn't capitalize, and now Omega are probably going to grab this rift and go. They have had all the... Usually, if you get the grubs, you get the Rift Herald, you give up the Drakes. They've got the Drakes. Highlanders haven't really been able to trade, and right now they're looking for that main avenue to play through. Is it going to be the Ezreal? Is it going to be the Lilia? They don't particularly have one yet, but Arrow looked like he was in a compromising position. He was not.
Yeah, they do spot out the Nautilus, though. Are going to retreat back towards the Highlanders' top side. Jackie Boy roaming around the map, looking to cover his carries, as any good support should. Got about 6k on the gold lead for Omega Gaming, and like you mentioned, there is also all of the objectives. If you're the Highlanders, kind of what is your... what's the point in which you're looking to make a final stand? You know, you're not at the soul point yet. You can afford to give up this next one. Kind of what's your, maybe we'll hold that thought as the Dominus comes through. The Poppy is actually going to knock Renekton away from the Lilia. E coming through. Drowsy does connect onto Renekton. A lot of damage coming through onto Grant. Does have the burn with the Leandries. Has the Zanyas. Flash in from the Renekton, trying to get the damage off, and the flash from the Udyr as well. Smite comes through, and that's going to be a kill onto Renekton for the Lilia. And now we got Alcove Gaming, but Arrow is coming up here as well. Meanwhile, we got a 2v2 in the bot side. Princeton gets the knockup onto the Ezreal with the Yone gets the kill. Jackie Boy should be able to run this out. Nautilus Hook does connect. Probably going to get hit up with the passive here any moment. There it is. Can Concrete buy enough time for Princeton to get here, and will it even matter? Doesn't look like they're going to continue that one.
Yeah, they got the return. They got the return play on the top side. Was not able to get it in the bot side. Though you could see Jack got the knock up, but was trying to get the knock away that had butt off before Yone finished channeling the ultimate. Unfortunately, wasn't able to. And that is going to be an interesting thing to watch as this game goes on. Captain's positioning, Arrow's positioning, kind of going into this game, because if they can't be in the there's only so much Alistar can do, but it's also like a mix of can they position essentially together, right? Well enough for Alistar to peel, but also well enough so that Alistar can peel, and that is going to be the difficult thing, because a lot of what Lily and Poppy do are kind of self peel, and Poppy will definitely help Alistar in a lot of situations by providing a no fly zone. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play these late game fights. My answer for your earlier question, though, on where their stand is, I think any objective fight that Poppy is at, right? One good keeper's verdict that sends Simulacrum, or not at this point, maybe even Princeton, or adjustment that gets them out of the fight and turns an advantage for Highlanders could be something they should look for to kind of get a fight win.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, Poppy can turn the tides of any fight, turn it into a 4v5, and even at a gold deficit, if it's a 4v5, you can certainly look to make plays there. We do have the drag coming up in about 20 seconds. It is the Mountain Soul, which would be big against things like, the Syndra, like the Ezreal, as both mid laners are staying top right now. They both have TP. Yone's about to get it up, not going to connect on the Q3 there. But we might see double teleports coming out here.
Yeah, we could also just see them not fight. If they decide, we're going to turtle, we're going to let them get You know, maybe they're gonna say, "Have your soul will go for Elder." I
Ooh,
can see that
big
happening.
Yone R comes through.
Wow.
Flash is used by Arrow, but still the kill's going to come through onto Princeton, who is now on a killing spree. And like you mentioned, they're going to give up this dragon. They're going to try to fight at another time. Look to put themselves on soul point here.
Yeah, and that's one of those, you know, that's what you can do, right? When you're especially as Yone, and like when you have your strong items, when you've got the Bork and you're building towards, I'm not sure what item that specifically is. Something tells me I've heard bad things about Kraken, so I assume I was about to say shield bow, but now it's built, so I don't seem like I'm telling the truth. Shield bow, and then obviously another critical item, maybe Mercurial Scimitar, or just having a null magic mantle just because. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they answer this Yone on the side lane, because while I do think Poppy's probably capable of answering either a B laner in a side lane, it may be a tougher ask to see if Syndra can chill versus either of them, just because of the design of the characters.
Yeah, obviously, Syndra, kind of an immobile mage, does get the shove there. Gonna buy themselves the time. But yeah, I mean, Renekton has the slice and dice. Yone has about 46 different dashes they can look for. As Grant, they're actually going to make a play here bot side. Jackie Boy is running around. Grant is getting very low. Hits the sleep into the Zanya's. Good buffer there, though, from Princeton. And that's just going to be a Baron start coming out from Omega Gaming. Diduculor is here. They're trying to hit a Keeper's Verdict to keep somebody out. Massive Nautilus Q is going to connect. Duckylord has to flash away with the W. Hits the Blast Cone, so they are going to get out. But it looks like that should just be the Baron here, down to about 7,000. We've got 4 members here. Arrow is TPing in, as is Princeton. No ult on this Yone, and that's going to be the Nautilus are connecting onto Alistar, who does get a multi-man knockout. Duckylord is doing as much as they can. Lilia doesn't have to sleep. Yone snap back into multiple carries on the backside, and Yone is getting popped. Shut down over to the Syndra, and they have to get off the Baron. In this fight, he's continuing. Duckylord, massive stun into the wall onto a Justin, who has to flash over. These health bars are getting so low on the backside, and so many, I can't even tell who's standing on top of one another. One by one, the members are falling. Super Chase gets burned by the Syndra. We have a 3v3, 7k gold lead. Doesn't matter. Panther Court made their stand.
It's just eaten to 3 people over a wall.
I thought that was Alistar at one point, and then I'm like, wait, no, that's not Alistar. I just so everyone's on top of each other. Couldn't even tell who that was. That was insane from Cappins, but overall, the play, I'd have to say, went pretty well for Panther Core.
Yeah, that was when I saw that the main thing Ducklord had done, although he missed the ult, he got hooked, he had the flash. The main thing that Ducklord did in that was just buy time. We saw the Syndra TP come through. We saw, you know, Alistar, Ezreal, Lilia all rushing up. Imagine if Lilia has ult, but we saw a huge knock-up to kick the fight off from Jack that stopped Renekton from getting on the back line. We saw them immediately turn focus onto the Yone to chip him down and made a 5v5 come out even in a 5v5, stopped the Baron. And on a side note, get yourself an ADC who matches your playstyle as much as Captain's matches Jackie Boys, because I cannot imagine eing into 3 people as Ezreal.
Yeah. Yes, certainly some psychotic energy there coming out from Cappins.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I loved it too. I just wasn't ready for it, you know. It's there were also there as Jackie was going to catch out Concrete, setting up that vision, some supportal combat, but the members of PCH are here a little bit quicker, going to hit up the stun onto Nautilus into a little bit of damage from Lilia from Syndra. I mean, again, it is a Nautilus, so it's going to be tough to kill, but you got that locket out of him.
Yeah, got the locket out, you know, just see if you can chip down the Nautilus, right? He doesn't have the Warmong yet, so the chip you do get onto this, the damage you do get onto Nautilus is so important. Because the lower he is, the less impactful, right? If he can only hook and then he dies, then he can't root someone, he can't ult someone. If he only ults, can't hook someone, can't auto. If he only autos, can't hook, or, well, probably can hook if he autos you, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, you want to get the Nautilus as low as possible so that he can't get off all of his utility, or that he can't get off any of his utility, you know? But now I think the difficult thing for PC is to try and replicate that. Right, that was a very odd fight, but the keys felt like not letting Renekton run wild and focusing the Yone as soon as possible. Question is, and it looks like they're priming to contest this Soul, but Renekton's pushing for free on the top side.
Yeah, and Renekton has the TP, so they got to be quick about this if you are the Highlanders. Jackie Boy, not quite here yet, so it is just 4v4. They are going to look to start up the Dragon, you would have to assume. Grant does pull the trigger. Concrete looking for a flank around the backside, maybe. Udyr does get spotted out, and they are trapped inside the pit. Super Chase is just pushing up on the top side. That tier 2 is already gone. Dragon down to about 3,000 health. Udyr trying to come in for the steal. Objective bounty is secured by Grant. Flash in from Super Chase onto Aaron, or Cappins onto the backside. Jackie Boy 1v4 buying so much time. Cappins does go down to the Udyr in the end. Jackie Boy falls. Sleep comes through onto multiple people. Yone, Renekton are asleep. Grant trying to buy as much time as they can into the Zanya's. Ducky Lord caught in the Dragon Pit. Flash out from Grant, and he's got the full stacks of the passive, but he is going to get popped in the end by Princeton, and Ducky Lord trying to do what they can, but it is 1v5, and that is probably going to be a Baron for Omega Gaming.
Got the Drake, but at what cost? Jackie Boy, right? You mentioned it, doing, like, trying to focusing on being a martyr, right? Occupying 3 people at once, but without that, can't peel the Renekton, who got directly on top of Cappins, and then Cappins goes over the wall to try to escape. Who's there waiting for him? It's Udyr. I kind of had them at every angle. For Omega Gaming, pre-Baron, of course, you lost the, did you lose the Drake? Yeah, but you got the Baron return. You still have 3 Drakes. There's always the next Drake. Okay, you got it. That would have been really funny.
Big attempt there from Jack to try and steal the blue buff.
Big attempt. That's real as fuck. And now we're seeing that Kanik Rookern's finished. For Udyr, the Jack shows is finished. So Lilia and Syndra with the Merc Treads, Lilia obviously kind of built off of burns. Maybe we'll have a better chance at chipping down this Udyr, but it's going to be difficult to try and kill the guy if he's not getting pelted by Ezreal at every second of the fight. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they try to chip through the Udyr. Will they try to ignore him? I don't know if that's really possible. And what are they going to do about this 4-item Zeri, right? They've got a lot of different threats are popping up for the Omega Gaming side that PC may not have all the answers to, but they're a scrappy fighting team. So maybe they're just going to look for random fights and try to catch them off balance. Who knows?
You know, and I mean, you definitely have these multi-man abilities on the side of Highlanders. You've got the Lilia Sleep, you've got the Poppy Keeper's Verdict that can, you know, they shortcast it, knock up multiple people. You've got Jackie Boy on the Alistar. There are ways they can win a team fight in a numbers advantage, but they have to find those opportunities as Concrete maybe getting caught out here. Jackie Boy gets stunned up, damage coming through solidly, but more damage onto Jackie Boy, who gets hit by the massive hook, and that should just be a dead Alistar. Keeper's Verdict does knock away Super Chase, but that is your ultimate down, and just the Alistar in exchange.
Yep. Once again, it's like that shit. You're just so much damage. Like, this is insane. And honestly, I feel like once this Nautilus gets the Vormox finished, he's going to be a nightmare to try and kill.
Yeah, to answer Tawan's question, Financial League, that is the league we are currently watching. This is your, like, I would say E3, E2 average. You're kind of that mid-emerald. You got a couple diamonds trickled in, probably a couple plats to kind of even it out, but somewhere around that mid-emerald average. We have 4 different leagues ranging from your kind of, you know, silver gold all the way up to diamond plus. But this is the emerald one.
Didn't know I said it better myself.
Panther Core trying to hold their base down. They're not going to be able to defend all 3 lanes. They got to kind of make their call on what they're going to give up. Right now they're defending top. Super Chase just pummeling this tower in the bot side, getting relatively low, and they're looking to collapse onto the Renekton, who does have the slice and dice, so they're going to be able to get out, and that's going to be double inhib down. All that is left is the bot, which Renekton is now by himself. Top side, they walk out. Really good macro coming out from Omega Gaming.
Yeah, they said, well, okay, if you're going to, you know, Super Chase kind of making himself look very, very tasty.
Um, and then kind of enticing all of Highlanders to come bot, and immediately that's when Princeton and Simacrum and Concrete and Adjustment focus hard on those top 2 inhibitors. So it's going to be... It is getting more and more difficult for Highlanders to make a comeback in this game, you know, and they are playing wild, so I don't want to count them out, but the gap is only getting bigger, it feels.
Yeah, Panther Core looking to defend on this dragon again. They don't want to give over the soul. You've got the numbers advantage as of right now. This 5-man death ball, Udyr on the blue buff is going to secure it, but the scuttle goes over to Panther Core, and that is big. Concrete looking to get a massive hook onto one of these carries. Udyr so strong on those 3 items. Zeri, 4.5 items. They have to find a way to kill Adjust. They have to find a way to kill Simulcrum, and they're going to start up the dragon here. Panther Core has the positioning. E is going to connect onto Zeri. Poppy trying to W off multiple members. Does knock the Renekton into the wall. Jackie Boy knocks him away. And that's going to be a big Keeper's Verdict. Knocks 2 members out. Dragon is stolen by Udyr in the back. So that's going to be Mountain Soul going over to the side of Omega Gaming. And now they're looking to just wipe up the Highlanders. Flash out from Arrow. Grant trying to do as much as they can. They've already popped the R. They still have the flash. They are going to pop. And all that is left is Cappins. Immediately taken out by that Yone R. TP's into the base. And that should be game number 1 over to Omega Gaming.
Simulcrum absolutely bossing up in that last fight, gets the Mountain Drake, gets the soul, and basically seals the deal, win fight or not. And it was even more from Super Chase. They came out and looked amazing that game. It's going to be interesting how Highlanders goes back to the how they go back to the drawing board, but Omega Gaming riding high. That was a great game 1.
Yeah, I think Udyr played super well there. Kind of, again, they got that first blood, and I think they did exactly what you got to do with Udyr, right? You know, you're clearing your camps, you're securing objectives, you're not doing a ton of damage in theory, but you're having a huge impact. Concrete on the Nautilus, 0-0-20. That is like your perfect support stat line. And even Princeton and Adjustment, these carries on Omega Gaming, I feel like everyone did their role super well. But that's not to take away from the Highlanders, who really kind of scrapped it out. You know, they hung around a long time. They got that dragon. They had the fight up by the Baron. And yeah, I'm curious to see what side they're going to be looking to take here.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to look to give one of those solo lanes counterpick, or are you just going to say, hey, we like to, you know, maybe they didn't hate their draft and thought something was wrong on the execution side, and they're fine with keeping the first pick to get something that they want to keep away from Omega Gaming without having to ban it.
Schmeckelbet getting paid out here. 69% of the pool going to Omega Gaming. Very much intended, I'm sure. Looks like Youngster Joey and company coming out on top.
Nice. Oh man, I'm excited for game 2. Both these teams have a lot up their sleeves, I feel. And that's only going to get more and more obvious, I think.
Yes, certainly. I think Panther Core has a lot, you know, in the pockets. You know, Arrow, Cappins, even Grant. I think Grant did a decent amount of damage, you know, with that Lilia. You know, there were some good sleeps coming through. Lilia, very, you know, tempo based champ. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot more in store. If I can remember, I think Panther Core primarily have been playing on blue side in this season. This is their 4th match of the season. At least by the time that we faced them, they had only played 1 game on red side, if I can recall. So potentially they could be some blue side warriors. We haven't gotten invited to the next lobby just yet, so waiting on that one to see which side we are going on. I like Vega asking the question, are Panthers cats? And then immediately answering his own question.
Yeah, they are, in fact, cats.
Vega, our 4th booth member. Not on the cast tonight, not in the game, but he's in our hearts.
He is in our hearts. He can also join the cast if he wants to, though. Like, I'm not going to gatekeep him or anything. You know, Jack, now that you've mentioned it, I'm very interested in that you made the decision to pick Alistar while all of us were watching. I applaud your bravery. And you can thank Trad for this.
Yeah. Well, not just Trad for sure. There was
There were multiple abusers, but I do think one of the main offenders had to have been Rito Trad.
Yeah. For sure, Trad, Pickle Hater, probably another person who led to that decision being made.
Yeah, it was an interesting time when soundboard was allowed in the LVLCS. I've been invited to an ARAM with Luffy. I may have to accept this.
Yeah, I also a Luffy special there.
Yeah. I mean, if one of us streams the game, the other can, you know.
This is true. I mean, we could not. I mean, who's gonna yell at us, right? Buggle a chance there. Who knows where Buggle's not still listening for sure.
Yeah, Buggle has likely stopped. You know who will actually? Praetorian might yell at us.
He doesn't watch the streams. He only tunes into Gamble, and plus,
he does tune into Gamble.
He's got an Eagles game to watch right now, right? Certainly not tuning into the low budget LCS.
Yeah, there are things more important than the LVLCS to that, man, and it is the Philadelphia Eagles.
No verdict yet on what side we are getting here in this game. Chat saying to not watch the Eagles game. I'm not tuning in at all, so I don't know if the Packers are smashing, if they're getting smashed. I think that's what the matchup is.
Did they figure out how to get around both of the teams wearing green, or is that just like they
the Eagles, maybe they're doing like their full, off-white color scheme. Maybe I actually hadn't thought of that, but yeah, definitely. Because they're in Brazil, right? Like the opening match.
Yeah,
is in Brazil.
they're in the Brazil stadium that does not allow teams to wear green.
Oh.
And they are wearing green. Never mind. Doesn't matter. I guess they just don't care.
Asking for forgiveness, not for permission.
Yep.
Let's take a look. Yeah, Luffy, we don't talk about the soundboards on the booth call. Our ears almost have recovered from the Mobamba incident. Granted, great incident. Like, was a big fan, but
Yeah. I got hooked.
Which speaking of, if you don't know the lore, you absolutely must listen to Mobamba if you go down in an LBLCS series. It does turn the tides. It does hype you up. And while we have this momentary break here, I'm going to switch us back over to this screen because people get really mad if I don't fix the overlay by the time we go into game. So since we have a moment here, we're just going to do it live. And don't mind the very off, the low quality logo switching here. It's all going to be perfect. We are going to see Panther Core heading over to the red side. Are going to see Omega coming over to blue. So a little bit of draft shakeup potentially. A different priority on things, different bans. We'll see what shakeups Panther Core has. What are some things you might be looking to see here?
I'm interested to see what they do to kind of aid the top side, or maybe they're going to look to aid the bottom side of the map instead and kind of focus on getting Captains or getting Jack, right? A matchup that they really enjoy. Well, I'm curious to see what way they go with that.
Now it's just not going to look as good here. Before when Omega was on red, the nice lady on the right side's head fit so perfectly. I don't know if it's going to fit as well with the Mona Lisa. It's still it's pretty good. What am I saying? Perfectly sized frame. For those of you on stream, you can see those shenanigans. Perfect here. Stream is ready to go. I'll just put stream are. Oh,
Oh.
the use.
Oh.
I mean, if you want to sub in, like, I mean, you could, I guess, but like.
I don't. I've had my fair share of seasons in financial. I don't feel like going back.
Yeah, last minute e-sub. Alright, let's take a look here. So, we're all in order. Maybe they're having their last second discussions about what to do as far as draft. No one has said they're ready yet. I think I like the idea of, Jack on Engage, something that can be followed up on, by top jungle. Maybe, I'm trying to think what else Grant plays. Obviously, the Vi was banned last time. They play Jarvan, if I recall. They can play, they could even go, the AP, Karthus route. They could go Zyra, I think I've seen. A lot of different tools in the basket for Panther Core.
Yep.
But also, I don't think last game was necessarily a doomed draft by any means. I think it was just kind of that one fight by Dragon that really kind of exploded the game. Because up to that point, things were pretty even. We do have one team ready to go. We got 2 teams ready to go. We are into the draft.
Yep, this is going to be a really fun one to see how they kind of adapt some of their findings from game 1, especially obviously for the Highlanders, but maybe Omega saw something in the last game and they're like, maybe we don't want to give them playstyle wise, they don't want to give as much, what's the word I'm looking for, freedom to this Highlanders team.
Yes, so far, nothing too surprising in the bans. We see the Vi, we see the Yone taken away from Princeton. Not going to be seeing them on that again. I think that's a good call. I'll be curious to see if they take away the Zeri. Viego taken away from Grant as well. Youngster Joey making a good point in chat. Sejuani is open.
Would you want to see Grant on Sejuani, to be honest?
Sedge can do a lot of things in the game, right? You can do the damage, you can frontline, you can tank, really just the jack of all trades in the jungle. But no, probably not looking to see Sedge, at least not this early. I think for Omega Gaming, they could look to pick up Sedge, does a lot of similar things to Udyr. Not quite as proficient a farmer, but really good engaged with the Glacial Prison. We'll see what they look to B1 here, as we're going to see a couple different champs this time for Omega.
Yep. Ezreal. I hate this guy.
Taken away from Cappins. Got some high Ezreal priority this time. Technically could be a flex. Could go mid, could go AD carry. I don't know if Princeton has it in the bag. So as for right now, we'll assume it's heading into the AD carry role.
Yeah, there has been, I believe, both Princeton and Adjustment have played the Ezreal, so this is a flex. I think actually Princeton has played it more than Adjustment.
Interesting.
So that is something to keep an eye out for. We could definitely see this Ezreal fly into the mid lane instead, but the immediate Ashe, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Karma here from Jack. Oh! Jack's Braum. All things considered, Jack's Braum is pretty fucking clean from the last time I've seen it. I think you've actually played against the Jack.
Yeah, I'm sure I have crossed paths with the Jackie Boy Braum. I think Braum is a really good champ. Pairs well with the Ashe. I do love that double slow combo. Typically with Braum, you're thinking of, picking it into engage, and now that kind of does give the option for Omega Gaming to pick up the Karma, which now gives you that Ezreal Karma poke bot lane that can be super obnoxious. That's not going to be a great time for Braum if they choose to go that route. So a lot of pressure on Jack and Cappins to take advantage of this Freljordian duo. Mm-hmm. And they could round it out with a Sedge in the jungle, just fully index into the slow comp.
They could, yep, an Ezreal Karma. I don't know if I would Sedge into Wukong though. That's tricky. Especially giving Wukong's proficiency into tanks
Mm-hmm.
and the like. What would you want to see into the Wukong here?
Wukong, AP junglers are definitely really the best answer into Wukong. Could see the Lilia again, could see Diana, could see a lot of different things, but it's going to be the Sylas, and that I think that
very
could
much be. Yeah, I was gonna say.
This is a flex. I think Arrow, one of his favorite champs is Sylas, if I'm remembering correctly. But I do think Grant also plays it in the jungle. So they take the Sylas. They now have that flex. And the pressure now on Omega Gaming is, they got to be careful with what champions they're picking up. Because if you pick up things that have really good ultimates, you are really helping out this Sylas on the other side.
Yeah, and even this draft has gone from like all right to very, very, very interesting, because you've got the Ezreal, which is an ADC mid flex, and you've got Sylas, which is the mid jungle flex. Both teams banning, well, we've got a jungle and a top ban, and then 2 top bans from GC Highlanders. I'd imagine Highlanders here probably picks the top laner and tries to keep it up, but instead reveals it to be a Xin Shao Sylas top side, which is danger. Those two guys that's a scary 2v2.
Yeah, that does likely take away the flex angle here. Probably not going to be a Xin Zhao solo lane. I love Xin Zhao in the jungle. Think it is super strong, and it's going to get even stronger with the buffs that are around the corner. But gonna see Super Chase back on that Renekton. Saw them do really, really well on a game 1. And now we're going to see, is Princeton taking this Ezreal, or is it heading into the bot side with adjustment? They're kind of lacking some AP, so I'd probably like to see them pick up something that can do a lot of AP damage into the Xin, into this Braum, kind of these big, meaty frontliners. 5 seconds on the clock. Going to give us nothing? Slow then. There's the Cassiopeia.
Cassiopeia. Yep, there. Look at her go. Cassiopeia, massive threat. Definitely an issue. If you let her get going, that fucking Yumi hover got me for a second.
Could you imagine?
Does Sez look good here? I just saw a fucking Sejuani hover. But it's gonna be the Ornn for Die Ducky Lord. Into the Renekton saying, alright, I'll just chill and do nothing in the top side. But there's such a strong team fight here, right? You've got, and some solid, maybe not insanely good, but some solid Sylas ults with the Dominus, with the Cassiopeia ult, with the Wukong ult. You've got a strong team fight team here with what feels like a really strong mid-jungle 2v2, which they played around. We saw a lot of ganks go the way of, Arrow entering the mid-game. And I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of continue that behavior and look to keep him rolling going into game 2. It felt like he had a solid early to mid game in game 1, but could not really roll it into the late game just because the champion was playing. On the Sylas now could be a lot more dangerous.
Yeah. To answer chat, Omega Gaming won game number 1. Panther Core elected to take the red side, and so we are seeing the swap around as they're asking if we are ready. Once again, we're always ready. We'll catch up. This is your guys' series. We are ready, so I think we're just waiting on somebody. The talks of H2O, but then they asked if we're ready. I'm not sure what's going on.
What is going on in chat?
You never know with chat. I mean, Jack's there, so it's just kind of generally unhinged, right? Taking a look here. I will go ahead and start up the game 2 prediction. The nice thing is that when I'm doing the predictions, I can't throw away my schmeckles, so I just kind of I passively gain them on the side. which is nice.
Do you want to bet vicariously through me? I only have like 40k schmeckles.
Only 40k. That's like pretty good, I think. So if I'm looking at these comps, as I will start up our predictions here, I think I like the comp from Highlanders a lot. I think they've got a lot of frontline, a lot of protection for this Ashe, while simultaneously you got the Xin Zhao and the Silas, who can go in, and if they get ahead early, they should be really hard to deal with. I think their comp is slightly easier to execute. So I think, and that plus the interest of wanting this to go to 3 games, I guess
Yeah.
my vicarious vote would be for the Highlanders. Not because of the booth bias, of course.
Right. Fair enough. I'll match what Omega Gaming is at right now. So keep it 50-50. Or close to 50-50. It looks like 50-50. I can't really actually verify.
We'll probably see Youngster Joey put down Mega Bucks. Just going to wait and see where Youngster Joey decides to tail. Won their bet last time, so probably up to like 540 if I had to guess, somewhere in that ballpark. Nothing surprising coming out as far as the champs and the roles. Part of me was really hoping it was like Silas Jungle with Xin Zhao mid or something, but that seemed a little silly. This seems more likely.
Yeah. Into Cassia's and Xiao mid does seem a little dubious, all things considered.
I can't imagine Silas is like, at least as far as the lane goes, both gonna struggle with the miasma.
Yeah.
And Luffy had it all. He had 4K. He's starting fresh. All in on Panther Core Highlanders. All 17.
Hey. Money's money.
Money's money. You gotta start somewhere. One big bet from it all turning around. That's the Bigfoot school of thought. Another thought to follow is the Papoba line of betting, which is to just bet the under. Whoever is the underdog, try and play the odds. That's another viable strategy. Again, I'm not here to give any schmeckle financial advice, but both of those do have some merit.
They absolutely. I do a mix of these two things. Sometimes I bet big. I'm big on kind of betting safely, if that makes sense, right? If I've got like, let's say for example, like I have 40.8k, I'll bet my 800, right? I stay above the 40.
Yep.
I stay 40k, and I still bet an amount that'll probably could get me back like maybe 1k, maybe 2k I get back. To see what I get. Don't like overreach, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's good to have that safety blanket. When it comes to like, real sports betting, I definitely have I haven't been doing as much lately, but I did follow that philosophy where like I will not go below X amount.
Yeah.
I just figured out to bet, so I just put it all down. That's what we're talking about. Youngster Joey wanting people to bet some more. Look, I can't bet because if I bet, I can't pay out, and somebody's got to pay out you degenerates, right?
Yes, like someone has to pay you degenerate gamblers. That is the life we live.
Now, while we've got this 2-minute delay, I'm curious. So, if Panther Corps come back and win this series, if they come back and win this game, right? They tie up the series 1-1, and I personally am a huge believer in these best of 3 series. If it goes to game 3, whoever wins game 2 is going to hard win game number 3. I don't care what the comps are. I don't care what's going on. It just, especially in financial, it feels like it's so momentum based. Like in my experience and watching other teams play, like it goes 1-1. Whoever wins that game 2, like most of the time, they just carry that momentum into a hard stomp game number 3. So if Panther Corps can win this, they've like basically in my mind guaranteed themselves a big series W.
I'm in between on this school of thought because in my head, I think usually it depends very, very heavily on the state of the game you win, right? If you're playing, I think if it is a 50-minute banger or a like 25-minute stomp, I do think the team that wins that game will steamroll the next game. But I think there is a sweet spot, a 30-40 minute sweet spot. Where I think if the game is even enough and then it's one fight that kind of sways the whole game, it allows the losing team to kind of reset and say, that's not really how game 3 is going to go, and they just have to accept it.
We'll see if Panther Corps even give us a chance to see this theory play out, as we are going to load into game here any moment. Luffy giving a surprisingly rational take in the chat regarding these junglers. I'm a big Xin Zhao player, big Wukong player, so I have a relatively good idea or prediction on how this is going to go. Xin Zhao should have that early pressure to look for ganks. You are so reliant on your Cyclone on the Wukong. You want to get to that 6 as quick as possible. So you're going to be power farming. Whereas Xin Zhao, really, once you get that level 3, you've kind of done a lot of your ability as far as ganking is unlocked. So I'm going to be curious to see if Grant looks to go for plays. I'm going to be curious to see if Simulcrum, I feel like I've said it 5 different times already this stream, if they look to just kind of power farm it out, as we see the 5 point this time. No Nautilus shenanigans. Jackie boy. Maybe I should turn off all chat for these streams, huh? Oh.
I love him.
No, well, Luffy. I mean, like, let's just call it how it is, Luffy. Like, you have this innate ability to, like, whatever champ you're playing, you choose to do the absolute worst possible thing on that champ, right? I'm talking the full lethality Jarvan. We're talking the tank engage aftershock Azir. We're talking just playing Shaco in general, just as like a construct. But you do it all with the intent to win, which is like almost the worst part. And like we're not even getting into the food takes, right? Like that's a whole other ball game.
From what I've seen, Luffy has like rational food takes, and then has some interesting takes.
His worst day in the low budget LCS was the day that he lost his Mayo role. Can almost guarantee is Jack gonna feel that early poke coming through from Concrete from adjustment. Not gonna go unnoticed though. Jack gonna get in that queue. And this is probably what we're going to see as far as this early laning. Karma has that range advantage over the Braum. Really going to come down to hitting a good Q, followed into the Ash Slow for Panther Corps Highlanders. Junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, so no interaction. Should be coming out super early as good trade here for thy Ducky Lord into the Renekton. Got to be careful. Those grass procs from Ornn hurt. He is going back in. No, I don't think he has the W. I think he went Q. Or no, he does. There's the flash in from thy Ducky Lord into the Brittle, into the solo kill. First blood for the Highlanders.
There is something so funny when Ornns get like solo kills. Like it feels like it's supposed to be like calm lane, nothing really happens, everybody enjoys their time, and then sometimes you'll just die to Ornn. And sometimes you'll just die to Ornn instead of like whatever was supposed to happen.
Well, Ornn is the original Cassante. The damage tank, frontliner, assassin, bruiser, mage. Ornn can do it all. And I think people sleep on Ornn because he's a big meaty boy in the top lane, but he can pack a punch. Now typically those solo kills don't happen before level 6, but Ducky Lord showing the proficiency, picking up the kill, has Super Chase already at about half health. Probably going to see Ornn look to teleport in here, kind of reaping the rewards. Yes, thank you, Luffy.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Luffy. I fucking love that quote.
Good knock up there from the Ornn. Does lose a minion as a trade, but you will take that for the mental tax, as Cappen's going to start to get ran down here. Karma W does connect. Exhaust coming out early from Concrete, and now the extended trade looking like it might go in the favor of the Highlanders. Stun is going to connect on the Concrete. Does have the flash still up, not going to pop it just yet. Cappen's looking to get those final autos off, but this is the strength that Ash Braum. You have the double slow, you have the concussive blows with the stun, and now both of these tanky members are stuck under tower with the full health Xin Zhao ready to look to dive. Jungle is on the opposite side of the map, took the Raptors. And let's see what Grant looks to do here. It might just look to take the Krugs, looking to play it safe. No, they are going to look to force on the tower. Flash comes in from Jackie Boy. They're looking to connect on to Justin, who does flash away, who does have the cleanse. Kill goes over to Captains in the end. This is going to be a 2-for-2 trade in the end. Double kill over to Captains, and now Diducular caught in a 1v2 here. Does he have enough damage to kill Renekton? I'm not sure that they do. Going to try their best. Simulacrum comes up with the flash into the Q, into the kill. 3-3 goes our kill count.
Messy, but hey, honestly, bot lane dive is a success. You got the 2 kills onto Ash, you know, things evening out in the top lane because Ornn probably wasn't supposed to have like a big solo kill lead anyways. And for Ornn, right, being even or just a little bit down is a huge success, right? You are completely fine with that, and almost getting the trade in a gank is also insanity. So, but we're seeing, you know, Jack it feels like when you get Jack in that kind of I guess that middle ground of playing a like balls to the walls go in champ and a setup peel play for your ADC but also for your team champ. Though that is where it feels like he really does kind of shine, and we could see that happen on the Braum. Went super aggressive for the dive there, and we'll see how much more this Braum can continue to connect with the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't surprise me if Jack is one of those kind of like momentum style players where like if you get the early momentum going, you know, you're able to like start feeling yourself, you know, get that nice play bot lane. You can kind of just carry that, you know, through the rest of the match. Knowing him in person wouldn't shock me at all if that's how he plays. Braum can kind of do it both ways. I think he can look to go in, follow up with the Ashe who hits the R, go with the Xin Zhao, or can play back and protect. It is a very versatile champ that I don't think gets enough credit. So far we've seen it go pretty well. We do see again this early prio on the Grubs by Omega Gaming, but this time we're seeing the immediate dragon coming out for the Highlanders. Dominus gets popped there onto the Ornn. Not sure he's going to have the full kill threat here. Dominus is going to wear out here, so Ornn could look for a call of the Forge God in exchange. He's at half health, so once he's out here, that is kill threat for Ornn. Again, tank / assassin / do it all.
Yeah. I think... So basically, Braum's basically like the bisexual of a support play, if you think about it, right? Able to engage, able to peel. That's like basically like what you're looking for there. Very curious to see if
flash in from Arrow does not hit the cast hour, but it does connect for Princeton, who picks up the kill with the miasma. Arrow cannot go anywhere. Outplays that 1v1, but then the Cyclone coming out with that level 6-4. Grant goes under the tower. The Wukong does. Not sure if he has the clone. Going to pick up the kill onto Xin Zhao, and now here is that call to Forge in the top side. Does connect with the first. Does connect with the Brittle. Does have the second W coming up. Does have to be careful here though. Renekton's cooldowns coming up any second. Not going to look to push that one.
Not the exact sequence they wanted in the mid lane there, but that's kind of what happens, right? You don't have your mid laner back, and it was a very close fight there in the mid lane as well. For the shield's the wrong way.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I wouldn't have been able to like keep my train of thought if I didn't mention it. I love that Jack is spamming his honor immediately afterwards. But I think there's something
that the word my head wants to use is poetic. I don't think poetic is the word I'm looking for. There is something interesting. I think Arrow has had a lot of almost against Princeton in these lanes so far. I'm really interested to see if he can turn it around, though. That seems like the more difficult part of it to me, but is the more interesting part of it to me as well.
I definitely think, Cass in particular, really going to be tough for the Highlanders if Cass is kind of able to accelerate the game. I think the Highlanders comp could have a hard time with the miasma, with that, the Conqueror damage coming through. I believe that's a Roa being built for Cass. So right now, not a ton of damage coming through. They got the Roa components and a tier. So this is kind of Cass the weakest. Flash in, coming through with the R, and Arrow is just stuck. Another kill come through for the Cass. Meanwhile, top side, we see a trade going back to the bot side in another trade. Captain's doing a lot of damage here to these guys under tower. Have to pop the True Shot Barrage. Shield is the right direction that time from Jackie Boy.
Yep. It also means he can't clear the wave, so they should be able to get this one into turret.
And this is
that's exactly what they're looking for.
Really, you pick as Karma to push the other team into the enemy tower. You want to be shoving them under tower, poking them with the Ez Qs, the Karma Qs. But Cappins and Jack are doing a really good job here of kind of neutralizing that.
Yeah, Captain's looking really good on the Ashe and Jack. It feels like they're both having a bit of a strong rebound game. The question is, can they kind of translate an early lead into something big, right? They got the first streak. They have to continue to get these dragons, continue to show that they've got everything they need to kind of take care of this game.
You do have to worry, though. Cass has that 10-minute Roa, so at 20 minutes, that'll be fully stacked. Probably will have the Seraph's Embrace by that point. And Wukong also has picked up a couple early kills, has that bounty. Grant looking to make a play bot. Doesn't have the bot laners there to match. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is up, but just going to walk that off as we do see the pings on the dragon.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I think that dragon fight is going to be the next big fight we look for, right? Everybody's going to have ults up. Everybody's going to be looking to fight. No bear facts, but we can get you a Val fact. It's a Val history fact. Congratulations, as I'm going to stop because there's a fight in the top
might
lane.
have to hold it until after the Dominus is popped by Super Chase. Call the Force God coming through from the Ornn. Does connect, hits that first Brutal proc, has the W, flash away. Ornn just going to look to follow up with the second proc, but there's the Cyclone. Does have the Thunder Sky, does the Xin Zhao, or does the Wukong, is flashing in to kill the Ornn. Flash follow away from the Ornn. Does pick up the kill in the end, does the Wukong. E does connect. And nothing left in the tank for Simulacrum, just trying to do what they can. Arrow trying to get up here, get some kill participation, but you gotta be careful. Cyclone, or Clone, away. Kill goes over to Wukong in the end, or on Wukong by the Xin Zhao, and now Jack, not sure how Jack got to no health here, but teleport coming up from the Renekton. 7-5 goes the kill count.
Wow. Just absolutely crazy fight there. But in the end, right, PC gets kind of basically what they want, right? They get the 2-for-1. They got the 2-for-1. They didn't get the grubs, and I think they're not going to be able to because you can see a lot of resources being given to it. But Xin Zhao, Ashe in the bot lane taking care of the Inferno Drake, right? And they're doing what they didn't do last game, which is get trades, get things in. So I think they're gonna look to play around that bot side now that they've gotten some strength. They've got some strength down in the bot lane. So I'm really interested to see how they play around Ashe and how they play around Braum, because those are two strong initiators for this comp.
Yeah, Captain's doing super well on the Ashe. We see Ornn, Luffy referring to his prior comment about the Deku Lord in the top side. Ornn already at level 10. Give it a few minutes and he'll start building those ornaments, which I know you in particular are not a fan of the somewhat recent change to not have the cool named items anymore. Kind of a little lazy of Riot if I'm giving my 2 cents.
Very lazy.
insane, frustratingly lazy.
A lot of cooldowns were used, a lot of flashes in the plays on the top side. Xin Zhao still has the flash, Silas still has the flash. Braum, we didn't quite catch what happened to the Braum. I think Jack was trying to come up and join that fight, got caught out by maybe the casts in the river, had to pop the R, pop the flash to get away. That's my best educated guess. We'll see what we look to do here as far as this Rift Herald, because you gave over 6 grubs to Omega. They haven't done a ton as far as the plates. They've kind of just taken 1 from each lane. But you get 6 grubs and the Rift Herald, and you're feeling a lot worse for wear if you are Panther Core.
Yep. So I'd imagine, right, the Herald and Drake timers aren't very similar. So I do want to, like, if you're Panther Core, you want to fight that Drake, or fight that Herald, right? You've got the 2 Drake lead. If you have to trade, that's also fine, right? You maybe don't want to allow the opposing team, but maybe they're confident in the team fighting.
We're back to trading these R's topside. Dominus gets popped first into the call of the Forge God. R does connect, doesn't hit onto the brittle, so Renekton will live this time, but I mean, we're seeing we've seen this trade kind of several times, right? You know, the Dominus gets popped first, Ducky Lord waits it out, and then just immediately, pops there. Our good flash out from Grant, paying respects. Wukong does come up, didn't quite catch the use of Cyclone, or the clone. They use the Cyclone. There's their second proc of their ultimate, but that is the Xin Zhao flash for the exhaust. Good slice and dice there to save themselves from Super Chase.
Yeah, Ducky Lord has been very solid in the last 2 games, so it doesn't feel surprising that is bringing it once again in this game too. It's just the matchup that feels a little shocking. But all in all, right, we're about 2 minutes out from this Drake, and it feels like both junglers are still posturing to try and get control of the situation down in bot lane. They have no idea.
Ooh,
and
Wukong stuck around.
Right,
Jack gonna run it out. No ult on the Wukong though, so relatively safe to just run this out. You know, basically full build on the Braum with the plated steel caps.
Yeah. Get that man a
Oh, Dominus already up, and Ducky Lord might not be able to live out this one. Super Chase finally living it out. No R in response from the Ornn.
Yeah, I assume the thought there was that the pillar was going to come up. You get the knock up. If you think the fight looks bad, you leave. Right, you know, Renekton's knocked up and your flash is coming up. Maybe.
Oh, look at this teleport coming through from the Cassiopeia. Good sense here, and massive R from Jack buys their Ashe enough time to get out. Well played to the Highlanders.
Oh,
Meanwhile, topside, Xin Zhao versus Renekton, a 1v1. There is no Dominus. Renekton can look to get out here, has to pop the flash. No response flash available for the Xin Zhao. Grant is going to continue to run them down, and they're looking to maybe go for a 4v2 here under tower. 4v3, Arrow kind of getting caught out here, looking to flash in and hit under the tower. Adjustment has to flash away. Concrete has to flash away. Call the Forge God comes through, knocks up several members, but they're able to get out through this alcove.
Wow, and it feels like Highlanders is playing excellent defense on the bot side, right? Not allowing Omega Gaming to get a big playoff, to get something that would be detrimental to their game. And, you know, between great timing, you know, it feels like 3 different players had great plays. You had Jack basically stuffing the...
Oh, Cappins maybe biting off more than they can chew. Massive play there from Wukong. Flashes in with the Cyclone. Gets the kill onto the Ashe. Flash in from Jackie Boy to get the stun. They're looking to kill off the Cassiopeia, which they are able to do. Shutdown does go over to Xin Zhao. Now Wukong does not have the clone. They do not have a Cyclone. They might just fall here under the tower. Ornn taking up as much as they can. Not going to be able to stick around. Grant diving back in. Adjustment is here, though. This is a numbers disadvantage, but a health disadvantage for Omega Gaming. Red turret destroyed in the mid lane by the Renekton, but the bot lane tower will fall in response. Grant is still continuing this pressure, hits the W, looking to go in, still has that Crescent Guard, and now the Dragon is up, but so is the Renekton coming down with the Dominus, does pop it, slice and dice into 2, gets the double call the Meek. Do they have the W available? Cannot tell. Gonna get the kill though anyway, onto the Xin Zhao, and Renekton doing so much work here. Pops the dominance in response from the Silas. True Shot Barrage not going to connect. Now Renekton kind of maybe caught out by themselves here. There's nobody to buy them enough time. Ducky Lord almost goes down, but in the end, it's going to be another kill for the Highlanders.
And Cappins has his ult up soon. If I'm Jack, and I assume both Jack and Cappins are like, hey, your ult is up soon. We're going to look for another fight. Why not, right? They are rabid animals right now, to say the least. So I'm very interested in seeing how they're going to maybe play off the rest of this. Everybody's up, a lot less ults are up, but so you don't have the Dominus, you don't have the Wook, you don't have the Cyclone, you don't have the True Shot Barrage, but you do have the Cassio ult, and obviously Mantra's up every 2 seconds, but you have the combination of ults. Silas ult is coming back up, and the bot lane's ults are also up. It's very interesting to see
Call the
how
Forge God gets popped. Zinzao immediately jumping onto this Karma, who is popped. Ashar was used, Ornar was used. This is a 4v5 here. They're looking to get themselves onto Soul Point. Wukong Cyclone is just about to come up, does not have the flash. Ducky Lord trying to do what they can to buy time for their team. Getting chunked out by this cast, by the Orn. Massive Cyclone to the backside, and the massive cast are in response. So many health bars are dropping. That's a double kill over to Super Chase. Looking to go in, does not have the flash. Wukong goes in. Jackie Boy goes down. 2 members are left. Zinzao and Ash have to get out. Zinzao trying to buy time for the Ash. Fight goes the way of Omega Gaming, and all that is left is Cappins down here. Adjustment looking to maybe catch him out in a 1v1. Does not have the berry, does have the flash, but that's going to be a full ace for the for Omega Gaming.
What a excellently played fight from Omega Gaming, despite feeling like they were down resources and kind of down. It felt like players, they still got through it. Arrow couldn't get the Wukong ult soon enough, and as soon as he did get onto the backline with the Wukong ult, we saw an excellent ult come out from the Cassiopeia to stuff it completely and kind of open up the opportunity once again for the Omega Gaming to kind of steamroll the fight, right? Silas gets stunned, can't do anything, able to knock down the Braum, able to knock down the Ornn, and just kind of were able to roll from there. It feels like it's these crucial team fights at objectives that Omega Gaming is getting the slight edge at when they're able to kind of play together.
Yeah, I mean, this jungle mid synergy clearly in full force here for Omega Gaming. The Wukong doing so much setup there in that fight, followed up by the massive Cassar. Princeton and Simulcrum playing super, super well. Renekton buying a ton of time there in that fight. And despite it being kind of a numbers disadvantage, Karma got picked off to start the play. Omega Gaming looking really strong here. Have those objective bounties on the table. And we'll see where Panther Core are able to kind of make their stand like we saw last game when they hung around a super long time with those bounties.
Yep.
We see Zinzao looking to just clear up their camps. You're not 5k, certainly doable. You can afford to give away some of these dragons here because you did get those first 2. But this begs the question of does Panther Core think that their win condition is getting to that soul point? If so, they're gonna have to look to fight here in about 3 minutes on this Hextech Soul. Ash with the Hextech Soul sounds super, super good. Zinzao, I bet that feels really good. But Omega Gaming kind of poshing up at this Baron at the moment. No jungler, though.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing is going to be, right, Cassio and Ezreal only going to get stronger. The main thing is going to see how well can they coordinate the longer this game goes on, right? How much of a wombo can we get from the Braum and Ornn ults, etc., etc. It feels like that's what they're kind of having to play off of. The question is, can they do it successfully enough to kind of get the win?
Yeah, I mean, Princeton on those 3 items has the Seraphs, has the Roa, and the Rylai's, so slowing them down, shielding themselves. Very much a nuisance cast build here. Wukong working towards that second item. Looks like they took a little bit of a detour buying the Executioners. Not going to get on that second item for a little while as Ornn going to pop the Unstoppable Getaway. Charlie's Battle Song gets popped there, so that's a cooldown timer.
Yeah, it sure is. Also, just you can't really, this Ornn, once that MR item finishes, is going to be huge. Went for the Thornmail first, which I do like, right? It's triple AD, the cast is sole AP on this team. He's going to look for the auto and then try to, go in.
Yeah, if he
do
could have
it
gotten
no MR.
if he could have gotten
Everything.
that to connect, but he's actually just getting pelted by these Cass E's. A lot of damage. Ultimately, in the end, gonna be able to walk it out. But now Jackie Boy getting jumped on by the Wukong does knock him up this time. But did they want to take this fight? They are getting pummeled by this Cass. Flash away, but that's just gonna be a kill for Princeton. 5-1.
Yeah. No MR on the Ornn yet. No like tangible MR, right? Has the Negatron cloak, but you know, maybe a Canic Recurn or stuff like that. But kind of unfortunately leaves him out to dry. Not a lot you can do without it, especially against the Cassia. We'll have to finish a Fawn or a Canic Recurn at least before considering that fight a second time.
Yeah, now Panther Corps in this tough spot as they are maybe looking to fight here mid. Cass has already gotten that tier 2 bot. They were able to detract them from doing the Baron, but that is another tower down. And this poke coming out from adjustment. They're going to walk it out. Dragon in about 25 seconds. Looks like Omega Gaming have the first move. And we'll see if Panther Corps feel like they have a fight here.
They've got the Hextech portal, so they can get into the fight very quickly. The question is, are they going to be confident enough? It looks like Grant is walking over. It's a question mark for sure. Jack is quote-unquote out of position, but I think he's actually fine, especially if he can just walk right to the Ornn.
Yep. We see Arrow up on that top side. Maybe they're just looking to try and get this objective bounty, get some gold back in their pockets. Again, this is just the second dragon, so Omega Gaming not necessarily in a spot where they're playing for the soul, but this does deny that opportunity from Panther Corps.
Yeah, it sure does, and that's kind of one of the things you've definitely got to watch for, because the strength of this PC comp will go down the longer that they allow these multiple pieces of the Omega Gaming comp to continue to scale, right? Cassio's already hitting 3 items and going towards her 4th, which I think is a Leandri's. Ezreal is closing on his 4th item as well. These are things that you absolutely don't want to see them get, but it is the state of their game right now, and that is very scary.
Yeah, it's looking tough for the Highlanders, but it's not over until the Nexus crumbles. All it takes is one good team fight with the Ornn, with the Braum. You got the ornaments now online for Ornn. Got that upgraded Thornmail that used to have a cool name, I think, but now it's just Masterwork Thornmail. Cass though.
Sure.
No, now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't think Thornmail ever had the cool name.
Yeah, I don't think.
Good dodge there from
Aegis did.
Wukong. Yes, Aegis definitely did.
And we're also seeing Ornn go for the Fawn as well. He needs to just dash away and give it up. Yeah, that's the Ornn right now is in clear waves as they approach the turret mode. Don't really want to engage with Cassio until the Fawn is done, because that is going to be your main way to try and deal with that character. Otherwise, it's fucked.
They're starting up the Baron here, though, so they find themselves in this impossible spot where if Ornn TP's in, as they are, Cass is able to just look to just push on this tier 3. I was trolled a little bit there. I thought I saw the teleport, but it was just a recall. So they are going to get off this Baron, but the pressure kind of still remains. You know, anytime that once Ornn commits to the teleport, Panther Corps has to make that fight work, because they will lose quite a bit in this bot side, or Cass can always just follow the TP.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, maybe at this point in the game, right, a late cast TP, if you're winning the 4v4 and then Ornn TP's in, a late cast TP may be more worth than losing 2 turrets or losing your inhib. But it is so dependent on just the state of their play. I think it'll be very curious to see how things go.
Yeah, Ornn, this looks like a lot of fun. Actually going to pop the Call to Forge. Does connect there. Oh, but the pillar denied the E crash down. That is so unfortunate.
Cock blocked by his own pillar. Unfortunate.
And now, I mean, that's a lot of kind of the threat of an Ornn TP is that massive Ornn R. And with that down, Omega Gaming could look to force onto this Baron, but they're instead just going to push out mid, get this Prio. Drag coming up in a minute 50. They're just keeping Panther Core kind of bottled up in their base here.
Yep.
But we see Xin Zhao coming behind. They're making the call. They can't fight the Baron. They're looking to shut down the cast here. Ashar does connect. Braum does hits the Q, hits the ignite. Big casts are not going to be enough here though. Shutdown is gifted over in the end to Cassiopeia, or on the Ashe for the Cassiopeia, but it is going to be the Baron, and that is going to be Dragon coming up in a minute 14. Should be gifted over to Omega as well.
Yep. This is going to be a tough, right? The cast is already an issue in the side lane, and you already had to dedicate. I probably didn't need maybe all 4 there, but you probably need 3 or 2, right? Maybe an Ashe and Braum with all their CC layered can take care of Cassiopeia, but you know, she's going to have the Baron, right? It's not going to be as simple for our good friend Ornn to answer her by himself anymore. So you've definitely got to figure out a way to threaten that guy, threaten Cassio without giving up too much.
One thing that I really need to see from that
Danger
Deku Lord
Ping's
is
on top
he
of Ornn.
might be getting caught out here a little bit. Level 15, so if I remember, as Ornn does have 2 ornaments available that haven't been cashed in yet, and that is a big... those upgrades are worth about 2,000 gold each, so I would really like to see Ornn, even if it's not onto the Silas, you know, if you give it to the Ashe, you give it to the Xin Zhao, kind of get that gold into your pockets a little bit.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see it on the Ashe at least, right? Get the Zenith Edge, get the I don't remember what the old Bork name was, but you know, get that Zenith Edge, right? Get that strong item. As
Looks like they're actually going to try and contest, but Hash just blowing up. Wukong call the force shot, does hit onto multiple people. Cyclone into the backside, and massive Brawlmar again. Renekton is onto Captain's in the back. Super low health bars. Cass does go down in the end. Jack trying to peel for these carries as best they can. Ash is pumping out the damage, but all that is left is the Silas. Triple kill for Super Chase, and now with the Baron, they could look to crush the base of the Highlanders.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Captain's positioning and kind of movement that fight was as good as it's going to get, but when Braum is kind of so separated, it is difficult to play that, especially if you're Cassiopeia. So, if you're Niche. So, that is kind of what the fight boiled down to. Now they're going to look to try and end. I think there's too much time. Well, we're not...
There's 5 on the Braum, and they are split, so they're going to get these double inhibs. They might look to stick around, but you do have the Hextech portals as well. We'll see what their call is here. Members starting to take out those Hextech portals.
Yep, they're just going to take the Hextech portals out. That's the safest possible play.
Do see Ornn starting to give away those upgrades. Looks like we got it on the Ashe first. Next up, trying to find Arrow. He's just going to all the teammates, hitting them up at the same time. Yep. Actually, not upgrading the Silas
yet.
Yeah,
it looks like he's going to go to upgrade Xin Shao. Yep. Or not.
Saving it for a rainy day.
Yeah. Yep. Saving it for a rainy day.
Like, I was thinking maybe, you know, you're saving it on Silas for, you know, when they get Death Cap, but they've got the 2 Amp Tomes, so that's probably not getting built. There's an upgrade onto Xin Zhao.
Yep, there it is. That's what I was expecting. I don't know if there was a name for Titanic Hydra. This is a
Battle Song coming through.
fight.
Jack does get a good R. Might not be able to save themselves, but they are able to save the team. 40 seconds in a 5v4 as Adjustment is pushing on this top side, and the reinforcements are following up. You've already got the double inhibs mid and bot lane, as I have been paused at 32:30.
Yeah, as have I. I do not know what has happened.
Maybe, oh, there we go. Pause.
There we
Pause. We just maybe didn't see the pause. Who knows? Pushing out on this top side, and with these grubs, this tower is just crumbling. Dominus is stolen, but Cyclone in onto Grant, onto that Ducky Lord, and Super Chase is trying to go in. They are holding this front line very well. Call the force shot coming through. These guys are bottled up. Does connect onto 3 members, and Wukong is the first member down. Princeton is taking so much damage. Arrow pops the Zanyas, and Panther Corps are holding the line. Braum is coming up in 10 seconds. Arrow is down. All that is left is the Ornn, though. So all you have left is a Braum into 3 members of Omega Gaming. I don't think that they're going to have a way to defend this. Jack is going to try as best they can, popping the concussive blows. Not going to be enough, and that's going to be a 2-0 win for Omega Gaming.
Omega Gaming came in rolling. Princeton and Adjustment having such insane games, but Small Crum also coming through and being such a driving force for both games, especially in the jungle. What a series!
I mean, you can see that damage from Princeton on the cast. Granted, let's say at least 10,000 of that was just bullying the Ornn in the bot lane.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Tank stats can kind of inflate things a little bit, but Princeton was super good in both of these games. Not sure why it says we've got our heart flutters on the Wukong, but Samalkrum super well, played super well both games as well. And then even Super Chase, early on, that Deculor was getting the upper hand in the Ornn Renekton matchup. For some reason, it's not going to show us any of the damage, any of the stats. Oh, well, apparently I was playing Renekton, so we can see those stats that were not me. With that, Omega Gaming going to move to 4-0 on the season, while Panther Corps Highlanders fall to 2-2. What I think that means for the playoff picture is that Naughty and Omega have pretty much locked playoff spots at this point, and that means that there are 2 playoff spots for the remaining 6 teams in Financial B.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be really interesting to see how that shakes out. Ooh, God. Tough game for Highlanders. They had bright moments, and I think the bot lane in game 2 was very good, and there were a couple of bright spots from the Ornn versus the Renekton in the top side, and even in game 1, right, we saw a lot of good moments in the mid and top lane, but it struggled to come together, right? It felt like they had a lot of mid game fights that just could not get them from point A to point B.
Yeah, certainly. I think Panther Corps held on a very long time, especially in game number 1. And this is, again, we're calling one of the better teams in Financial B. They were undefeated, so certainly not a bad loss. If you are the Highlanders, you've still got a couple weeks left to secure that playoff spot, or all it takes is to get in. It doesn't matter if you're the 1st seed or the 4th seed. We've seen it all the time where 1st seeds get bounced in the 1st round. That's an LBLCS special. So all you need is a seat at the table. Speaking of a seat at the table, we are waiting to see if anybody from Omega Gaming would like to hop on for a brief little interview. And it looks like we do have ourselves the captain of Omega Gaming, as I will drag them up here. Welcome in to the broadcast booth. Concrete, how are we feeling after that 2-0?
Hey, how you guys doing? Pretty good. Pretty good. It was a fun series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the bot lane. It felt like there were two kind of very different games of the bot lane, right? Game 1 was kind of the Nautilus and Alistar seeing who can match each other as you roam across the map, versus game 2 where it did feel like you guys were kind of playing off the back foot after some early pressure from PC.
Yeah. Generally, our idea going into the game was just try to keep lanes even, and we were pretty confident that if we were not behind at mid game, we would be able to, win from there. We got lucky, not lucky, but we played the early game well, really well game 1. So we're able to create that small lead that kind of snowballed. Game 2 was a little bit different, obviously, the Enchanter into the Braum. I got behind in some roams that I probably shouldn't have taken where there was an XP advantage. But I think overall we played it well, and it was really well played from the side of PC. I think they could have dove us a little bit more bottom. I felt like I was sitting bot really low for quite a while with Ashe having ult up, and I feel like they could have just 2-man dove us, but I don't know, that's hindsight 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so definitely, like you mentioned, 2 kind of different styles of games the bot lane, and certainly some takeaways as far as things to work on or things to take note of. Obviously, looking at your guys' season, it's been pretty solid. I think we were talking about it right before you joined. I'm assuming that 4 series wins is enough to get you guys into the playoffs. Of course, a mathematician can confirm that for me, but 4 feels pretty confident enough for you to get into playoffs. 5 certainly would secure it. How are you guys feeling at this point? I know you guys still have a match against the Naughty Narwhals down the stretch. Any thoughts on the rest of you guys' season?
Yeah, no, it's been fun so far. Excited to potentially clinch that playoff spot, like you mentioned. Excited to play against some of the stronger teams in the other groups as well. I think we still have to play TDS, Naughty Narwhals, like you mentioned, and one other team that I might be blanking on. I can't remember the name.
My team, the Live Wires.
Live Wires, yes,
Live Wires.
Live Wires. I think TDS, our game against TDS is probably going to be the makeup week, potentially, but who knows? But I think what I've liked at least about low budget LCS is that, like, since the teams are like kind of point based and it's like skill levels vary, the theory crafting and draft plans for against every team is different. It feels like we can kind of play against different teams' strengths with our strengths. Like this game, we knew their junglers, like, their on paper best player, quote unquote. So we like really played to make his life not his game not playable. But then that might not be the same for a different team. So it's been pretty fun to get to theorycraft for the boys and come up with plans for all of our series.
Yeah, that is one of the fun parts about it all. Got any more questions, Mr. Westforce?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you the same. I don't have any, so I don't know if you have any other questions, Val. If not, we can hand it off to Concrete. If there's any shout outs or parting thoughts you want to give the stream, now would be your time to do so.
No, just shout out to you guys for casting. Shout out to my team. You know, we've known these guys for like 6 years now, so it's been really
Wow.
fun getting to play with them again. Yeah, we've go way back, and this is the first time in a while we've got to play again. And thank you to my team for the patience of having me role swap to support and learn this role. So sorry for all the hints, but thanks for the patience.
No, love the humble shout out there to wrap up the stream. That is going to do it for us here tonight. Hopefully, I think there might be some weekend streams coming up, ? Obviously this week there was plans to stream a couple days this week, and then things fell apart. Classic low budget LCS fashion. But we are coming in hot, starting off on Friday. I think we got one lined up tomorrow potentially. So hopefully we will catch you guys in the next stream. Val, take us off the air.
Did you know that frogs, every time they go into hibernation, they get a new layer of bones?